Next up, we are joining Nilay from Klevu is joining us to talk about the future of search and the paradigms of search from his perspective. So Nilay, without any further delay, welcome to the stage.
Okay. Thank you, William. Hey, good morning. Online shopping is evolving. It's bringing more and more natural form of shopping experiences. And discovery is going to be paramount in this journey. So let's explore what this conversational discovery would be and what its contribution will be to the evolution of online shopping. Briefly about me, I'm Nilay, one of the co-founders of fastest growing Nordic search technology companies, Klevu. Today, I'm not going to talk about Klevu, but I'm going to talk about how I see the future of discovery in shopping. Okay, so let's look at the key 3 trends in online or digital shopping today. Number 1, and my most favorite, is the unstructured data. How many of you have heard the term big data, dark data, unstructured data? In 2013, internet users generated 30 exabyte of data. And this year, we're going to generate 300 exabyte of data. Out of these 300 exabyte of internet data, 88% data would be unstructured data. So there's a huge opportunity ahead for the applications that can help make sense out of this unstructured data. The second is the word phygital. How many of you have heard the word phygital? I heard that from Niels Moore in Stockholm a few years ago. It's interesting because the offline shops, you might have noticed, are adopting technology even at faster pace than online shops. Examples could be Rebecca Minkoff in New York, or Burberry on Regent Street in London, or Carrefour in France. What basically they are doing there is bringing more virtual experiences in the physical store. Right? 3D holograms, augmented reality, digital signage. It's growing 40% year on year. Right? Carrefour installed a robot, or SoftBank in Tokyo installed a robot inside the store to greet the customers. So offline shops are bringing more and more virtual experiences for you as shoppers. Right? So the future of shopping is going to be truly phygital as we progress. On the other hand, online shops are bringing more and more real or natural experiences to the shoppers. Examples are, the simplest example is live chat. 70% of the live chat queries are about products. 20% of the live chat queries are about, I ordered my product, I haven't received it yet. Where is it? 3D views, right? Hiring a stylist on a fashion boutique to answer the questions of the visitor, right? Triggered follow-up. These are some of the examples where we are bringing more and more natural experiences in online environment. Now, in this particular context, search and the discovery are going to be really interesting piece ahead. Let's further look at that particular aspect, that how search would inform and contribute to this natural form of interactions. Let's look at how site search is kind of performing today. How many of you have searched more than 3 keywords when you are searching on Google? Some of you, many of you. My daughter, who is 5-year-old, she just expressed what she wants to YouTube, that I want Kinder egg with blah, 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 and expects very structured response from Google. I call them Semantic Kids. These are the new generation of shoppers. who want to have structured response for highly unstructured queries. Right? Amazon, it's fundamentally a search company than an e-commerce company. The discovery of the consumer for the product is something that they started to focus on from day one. So what's the biggest difference between Amazon versus top 100 or top 50 retailers in the US? Is actually the discovery, how you as shopper find the product. So Baymont Institute in the US did a study on 12 types of queries that people perform when they are on the store. So if you look at from the bottom up, so let's say subjective queries. So people come to the store and say that, hey, high quality stuff or affordable or symptom search, meaning some problem that I want to resolve. Let's say revolving chair is my search query in that sense. Relational queries where I have kind of relation with some other object. So let's say toys suitable for infant, right? Now, the red color that you see, even the top 50 retailers are struggling to address these type of queries. And thanks to Google and how the search in Google has evolved, search queries are growing every day. Let's look at the evolution, how kind of site search technology has evolved so far. So how many of you have heard kind of Solr or Lucene type of indexing technologies that we are used to? Most retailers still today are on Lucene or Solr-based indexing, which is good. It's a good starting point. But that only addresses the first two type of queries. That means it's a non-product queries, exit queries. As soon as the query does not match the keyword in the catalog, you're gone. And guys like Google can address that, and it means when the visitor is on your site, they don't find what they want, they go back to Google. When they go back to Google, you lose the customer, you still pay Google, right? So index search kind of evolved. It helps structure the catalog, make search a bit faster, but it doesn't learn anything. There's no personalization, there's no trend navigation there. That brought the learning search into the paradigm. So you learn from the consumer behavior, and you optimize the results automatically. Now, learning is a broad spectrum. You could just learn from the clicks or the checkout or the locations, personalized behavior. So it depends, how deep is the learning from the search technology. But learning search is still a keyword search, right? And that brought semantic search into the journey. So if you had tried on Google in 2010, who is the president of the United States, it would have been able to answer your question. But it wouldn't have been able to answer what's the height of the president. In post-2012, Google was able to answer that question because it kind of truly shifted to semantic search capabilities. The technology behind is kind of knowledge graphs, and understanding the intent kind of becomes more important there. So semantic search is about kind of querying to the large knowledge base that is kind of continuously developing in the background, which is largely unstructured, and you somehow structure that into certain kind of form. How I see this semantic search moving ahead is on a conversational level. Going back to the example of new age shoppers, that they just want to express what they want and get the results. The shopping is moving to the kind of 4.5-inch screen, right? And even that will probably go away soon. So expressing, not necessarily just by keywords, by voice, by image, by touch, all of that are natural form of expressions, right? And how we are used to conversing in a physical shop, that is something that an online search should be able to address as well. So Jolly Robot in Carrefour in France, they introduced that robot just to, currently it's a micro innovation, I would say, just to greet kind of customer handshake and say, what do you want, and so on. But eventually, we are going into assisted kind of discovery, even in the physical shop as well as online shop. Okay, so there's the evolution. But the ultimate goal of retailers, is to improve retention, discovery, and conversion, right? So let's look at some of the practical things that you can do today and apply today. There are 3 basic elements that I want to address first. Number 1, this is based on the basic tenets of data science and consumer discovery, is the understanding the moment. Now, no tool can actually help you understand the moment when you should act or enable your shopper. That is your job as a retailer to do that. Understand your customers, right? Understand your customer journey. Understand the persona of the customer. And find that moment. When is the right moment to act and enable the shopper? Second is measuring the discovery. What are your driving metrics? How are you measuring the consumer discovery? Amazon, again, is the perfect example how they rigorously measure every individual shopper's or visitor's discovery path and take actions accordingly. And third, being non-intrusive. Now, being non-intrusive is, culturally, it could be different. Like I come from Finland, where being non-intrusive is kind of really extreme, whereas, compared to American or some other warm cultures. But it is important, no matter which tools you are using, it is really important to understand that when can you or when should you intrude into the shopping experience, right? So considering these 3 elements, measuring the discovery, being non-intrusive, and kind of understanding the whole customer persona, let's look at the specific actions that you can take. Number 1, for me, is simpler interface. Showing that extra offer as a pop-up when the visitor is kind of just trying to do something is not going to get you more business. The shopping moving to, again, a smaller screen size, the simpler the interface, the less noisier is the interface, the better it is. You want the shopper to be able to process and digest what you are showing on the screen as fast as possible before the attention span kind of really breaks. And by the way, that attention span is nowadays only few seconds, right? So that's number 1. Avoid clutter as much as possible from your site. Second, no matter what search technology you use, I think the first step is to understand and explore and exploit the insights from this search. If there are retailers here in the group, are you measuring the search box at all? Do you know what is the dollar value of the keyword? You must be knowing what is the dollar value of the keyword that comes from Google to your site. But what is the dollar value of the keyword that is searched on your site? Where do shoppers come from when they search on your site? Which keywords are returning 0 results, right? How much time do they spend within the search box? What do they do after doing the search? How many queries are long tail queries? Measure these points. And then you can use this. If you can give these insights to your marketing team, it's a treasure. Most of the marketing campaigns are kind of almost shooting in the dark at the moment. But if you can really measure the search within your store, that will help you make your campaigns much narrower, and that means your conversion rate would be much higher from the external marketing point of view. Orienting your search. I think this is one thing that I have noticed. Consider 3 types of shopping sites: a fashion boutique, aggregator marketplace, and a tool and equipment store. Right? Consider that you as a shopper are buying from these 3 types of shops. Your intent is different, your need is different, your discovery is different. So as a retailer, showing the same kind of search layout to all of them doesn't make sense. Now, I can't tell you what should be the layout. It's you who should really understand your catalog. Let's say if you have 20 million products in your catalog, Amazon has 3 billion products altogether in the catalog. So it's a data overwhelming problem they have, right? Jack Daniels has 215 products in the catalog, right? Gant has only 10,000 products in the catalog. So what's your catalog size? That really defines how you want to show the results to the customer. What's the traffic volume? What's the visitor segmentation? What's the shopping category you are in? So really understand this, and based on that, orient your search and how you want to show the search results. Now, how can you do that? The method I really like is A/B testing. Right? We'll go into that in a little while. Engagement touch points. I think this is about, again, going towards natural form of interactions on the store, on the online store. So live chats, follow-ups, reviews, hand-holding the shopper during the journey. These are some of the examples that are already being used. How many of you are using live chat already today? Or how many of you are collecting reviews? What do you do with them? When I asked with most of the retailers that I know, that was very interesting insight. Most retailers don't know what to do with reviews. They just collect them. The most they do is, we got 4.5 star rating. That's the utmost analysis they can do. If you're a small or medium-sized retailer, do understand these reviews. There's a rich insight in them. Now, these reviews are unstructured, right? So extracting relevance from this is something quite critical. So kind of extract the pattern from these reviews and improve your catalog, improve your customer service based on that. One example that I really like is Booking.com. Have you ever used that site, Booking.com? It's an accommodation booking site. That really addresses all the three elements that I talked about, being non-intrusive, measuring the discovery, and guiding the persona of the buyer. On Booking.com, let's say I'm looking for a hotel in Sydney. It gives me really interesting data points while I'm doing my booking. So when I'm looking at different kinds of hotels, it gives me nice snippets that are guiding my actions, right? That the Sydney CBD is the central kind of business district. It's the safety rating is this much, and there are nice retail outlets there, and it's very qualitative but very rich insights that I get. When I reach to a checkout page, when I actually book my hotel, then I get really good 3 to 5 positive signals about the booking that I did. That you have really chosen the best hotel in the district, right? The review is 8.5, and this is the best review of the hotel, right? The Wi-Fi works great. Because I click that I'm going for the work, it gives me that data point. It's amazing how it guides you. If you leave the site, it comes back to you with really interesting data points that from your city, X number of people have just booked this hotel, and the prices have gone 10% high in last 1 hour. What do you want to do? So it really knows when to create the FOMO and when to guide you for the next action. Now that approach is, I call that as a feed-forward approach instead of feedback approach. So most of us are used to take reactive actions based on the learning. Consider going feed-forward from feedback. So feed-forward means you want to guide the users what should be the next action. That is, the similar thing is happening in machine learning and machine intelligence. That today we are helping robots, but in about 5 to 10 years, it's quite evident that robotic discovery, robotic intelligence will guide us for the next actions. Right? Your blood pressure is low, you should go and take this medicine. So it's about guiding your action. Now, how to do feed-forward approach? So learn from the feedback, hypothesize. Take any hypothesis. that you can learn from the feedback. Take action, fast actions. Test it, measure it. And that's what you do with extensive A/B test. And do as frequent iterations as possible with the feed-forward actions. That's the way you can validate your hypothesis and guide your users for the next action. Right? Okay. As a summary, there are 3 points that I would like to bring here. Number 1, offline versus online. Offline is really becoming more online, and online is really becoming more offline. So we are really on a journey in terms of a unified shopping experience. And this is particularly very important if your store is in both sides of the equation. Online shopping is truly kind of set for the natural interactions and experience in natural interactions. And understanding, I think unstructured data would be the biggest opportunity and also the challenge in the short term, at least. Because we have grown this unstructured data to really unmanageable capacity already today. And there are quite many solutions out there which can claim that we can help you make sense of the data, right? But in unstructured world, it's not about the solution, it's about the outcome. That what you can extract from this and give me the right information. If somebody has written on a wine glass shop that I got this as a Mother's Day gift and these are fabulous wine glasses, you want to have an application that can extract and associate that product with Mother's Day gift, for example, right? And I think there's a huge opportunity there, but it's also kind of utterly challenging because human expressions are not that easy to kind of comprehend. And across cultures, languages, how we present this, across slangs, right? Before I came here, I read about, how Australians actually, use certain slang words in Sydney. And it was kind of really an eye-opener compared to, let's say, how we do in Sweden or Finland, for example. So, and there is a huge market opportunity outside the English as a language. So most solutions in semantic technologies are oriented towards English at the moment because there are the most comprehensive linguistic resources available in that space. But I think the opportunity is also in many non-English languages, especially in the European region where the shopping still happens in the local language. So with this note, thank you, and I'm happy to answer some questions and comments. We have, I think, still 5 minutes for that. Thank you.
Does anyone have a question for Nilay?
Hey. So you were talking there about, at the start, reducing noise for that shopping experience online, but then also with that feed-forward approach of really putting positive cues in there. That balance, does that come from extensive A/B testing? What's sort of the best way to not bombard them?
In my view, that's the only way. There's no other way for that. I mean, there's no expert advice that you can just take and just implement that. Because I would really rely on my customers to decide whether this is right or not. But I think guiding them is very important. And it's about balancing the act of engagement. I mean, you're absolutely right. On one side you want to be non-intrusive, but on the other side you want to guide the consumer. So what's that balance? And I think it's about kind of the fine-tuning the sort of the radio signal, if you like.
Great. Any other questions? No further questions.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much. I will be still here at the event, so look forward to engage with you guys more. Thank you. Happy searching. Bye.